Romans 12:2-3. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. For by the grace given to me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment, in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you. Romans 12:2-3.
Evie has a crazy amount of grit. She's not going to give up. And when she has a goal in front of her, she's going to go for it.
I have seen her be kind across the board in our school to people you would consider popular and people kind of on the fringe. There's no difference in Evie's mind.
Evie displays a high level of Christ-like leadership. Debate is an activity where there's a lot of brokenness. She's always walking with somebody from another team who's talking to her, and she really, really leads by an example.
What I love about Evie as a captain is she leads both in word and in deed. She can be very direct when necessary, which is a good thing, and other times it's just a word of encouragement.
To me, especially kindness is how she lives out her faith.
Ephesians 4:32 starts out and it says, be kind to one another. And kindness can change the world. And sometimes, maybe even a lot of time, the world doesn't appreciate kindness. And so if I think about that verse, I think about Evie. And Evie is exactly what you want in an athlete and good character.
She really has a goal. She's going to go for it. And then you add that she's also a galvanizer. In other words, she gathers people around her. She's so excited. You add that positivity to it. She's able to go for a goal and get people around her to accomplish that goal together. I've seen that as student body president. I've seen it as the debate captain. I've seen it as the captain of her soccer team.
And Evie's speech has always been, even though it contains those elements, has always been one of redemption and hope. And kids latch onto that.
She was in my small group, she participated, and she knew the Word of God, and she always had great insight into what she had just learned at church or what she had just read, and which drew the other students to her, and they in turn wanted to know more.
When I look back at what Evie has brought to this school and to my team and to my classroom, I will think of that, her endless encouragement, her effortless joy, and her beautiful consistency in loving God always, no matter what.
In a world full of chaos, it's so important to fix our eyes on not what is seen, but what is unseen. So looking towards heaven and the promise of a new world, and knowing that even though there's brokenness here and a lot of hard things, that I can have hope and look towards heaven and a future with God's perfection and goodness.